Andy here. I want to walk through my solution to the week 1 assignment. Here it is in front of you. Monumental Pictures is making an investment. They made an investment by producing a remake of the classic film Attack of the Crab Monsters. Here's the setup for the Attack of the Crab Monsters. It involves large crustaceans and radioactivity. Clearly a great film produced by the director, directed by Roger Corman, noteworthy artist. Film cost him $125 million to make in 2006, and then subsequent future years it generated these cash flows: $70 million in 2007, $50 in 2008, so on and so forth. You'll note that these are unequal cash flows, so it wouldn't be something you could use table 4 in the textbook to calculate the net present value of. Company has a 20% expected rate of return, so that's their hurdle rate, that's their requirement. And your requirements here for the problem are to calculate, first of all, the net present value of the investment. Let's do that using Excel. I'll flip over here to my Excel spreadsheet, and what I've already set up here are the time periods in this column, and then the payments in that column. Here the 125 original cost is shown as a negative number because that's a cost going out, whereas the receipts are positive. Those are costs that are being returned to the company. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the total of the receipts, and I'll use my sum function to do that. I'll simply highlight those cash receipts, click on my sum function, and there's my total receipts. And when I compare that to my cost, I come up with profits generated by film. I'll underline that so everybody can be stylistically correct. Okay, now nothing wrong with that calculation, except that profit generated by the film and any return on investment that I want to calculate, any profit margin, 55 divided by the 180, I'll convert that to a percentage there. That 31% that I show as return on investment all those calculations ignore the time value of money. Going back to the problem here, here's the issue. We've got a cost of $125 million that was incurred in 2006, but the receipts, these cash flows here, those are returned in subsequent years. So it's not accurate to describe the $55 million as being the profit from the film in any time-adjusted sense, and the 31% return on investment, it ignores the time value of money. So let's do some calculations that include that time value of money. In this cell here, I'm going to calculate the present value of the receipts. So to do so, I'll go to Insert, Function. I've got a financial function, and I'll use NPV for net present value. This is the function that you'd use to calculate the present value of an annuity in Excel. I'll click OK, and I get a dialog box, and I'll drag that into focus here. The rate I'm going to use is 20%, and then my values are here, and what I'll do is I'll highlight my range of cells for those cash receipts. I'll click OK, and what Excel returns to me is the present value of those cash flows. I'll shrink down the decimals for you there. So this is present value of receipts on a time-adjusted basis. That's how we can compare the cash inflows with the present value of the cost. I'll copy that down there to come up with the net present value of the investment. The net present value is greater than zero. It's a positive number. So that means that the investment generated a rate of return greater than the 20% required. It means it was a good project. Now, what was that rate of return? Was it the 31%? 31% here ignores that time value of money. So let's use another Excel function that takes into account the fact that $1 today is worth more than $1 to be received in the future. And that's the IRR function. I'll click on my cell there. Again, I'll insert function. This time I'm looking for a financial function called IRR. And I'll click OK. Incidentally, I'm using Office 2003 for Mac, and that's why this may look different from one of whatever Excel functions you're using. The functions themselves are the same. It's where they are in your version of Excel or whatever spreadsheet you're using that may look different. Don't let the difference in appearance throw you. For my values here, I'm going to highlight the entire range of cells for the payments, the cash outflow and the cash inflows. So I've got a wider range. And my guess, well, 20% is a good guess. I'll use that. And again, I'll click OK. And Excel returns 21%. If I expand the decimals, I'll see it's 20.69%. And that's my internal rate of return. Internal rate of return. That's a more accurate return measure than the 31% here, which ignored the time value of money. So yeah, the film earned a positive net present value. It returned 20.69%. When we come back here to the setup, and the CEO said the film earned $175 million. Well, first of all, it earned $180 million, so he's understating his case. And then based on his numbers there, he said it earned a profit of $50 million or a return on investment of 28.5. Again, going back to our data, well, the 31% is the return on investment that we calculated, but that ignores the time value of money. And a more accurate return number is this 20.69, 20.7 if you want to round up a little bit, internal rate of return. Hope that helps.